Hi there, this is PAYAL Nanjiani, your good friend and coach, and I have something very interesting to talk to you today about. This happened yesterday, and I was doing a book signing at an event where I was speaking, and a lot of people, they came up with this thing when they spoke to me during the book signing. They said, hey, you know what, Payal, it's such a blessing to have a good boss in your career. It can just make your career so good. And then someone was like, oh yeah, people don't leave companies, they leave bad bosses. And I was just thinking about it and I said, this is so untrue. I mean, this is like a leadership myth that we have been fed into by the corporate world, that, if you don't have a good boss, your career life will not grow well, or, if you're leaving the company, it's because of your boss. It's a myth, and we have been feeding this myth because just imagine, what if today you don't have a good boss, and tomorrow, because of the boss, he or she, you leave the company, you join another company, and you have this fabulous boss, your career is going well, you're so happy, you're so blessed, and suddenly there is a reorg in the company, there is some changes happening, and now you have another boss who sucks and who is like absolutely not a people person. Now what? Are you again going to go and find another company because of a boss? You see, people wake up differently every day. They change. They have different emotions. Maybe your boss is good for a year or two, and then something happens in his or her personal life. Some things change, and now he or she is just not the same. Now what? So rather than going with this myth that, a good boss can really make your career, rather than just depending on your boss, why don't you depend on yourself? Why don't you see how you deal with a bad boss? Why don't you take it as a learning lesson? Why don't you become that person who could deal with any type of a boss or any type of a person? Grow where you are planted. Having a bad boss, having a boss who is not up to the mark as per what you want, not necessarily the boss is bad, but not as per the mark, as per what you want. Why don't you take that as an opportunity to learn how to deal with difficult people? Why don't you take that as a learning and make your leadership level, just raise your leadership level to an extent where your boss or your circumstances don't impact you? Because there is absolutely no guarantee that the place that you go next will have a good boss. So rather than leaving your company, leaving your organization because of a boss, why don't you focus on your purpose? Why don't you focus on the things you want to do and make a difference? Why don't you become that boss that you always wanted? I'm again repeating, leaving your company because of a boss will do no good to you, because soon your career life will be over. And when you look back, you will think, oh, where's my purpose gone? Where is my, I wanted to create something. I wanted to make a difference. Where has all that gone? Just for a boss, you don't leave the company. In fact, learn how to deal with them, learn how to grow with them, learn how to navigate through their mindset, learn how to use some permutations and combinations. So all of this eventually will help you raise and rise in the company, rather than just hopping companies in search of a boss that you may never have.